What's up, everyone? Here we are bringing you another episode of Frankensteining Around. If you follow my channel, you know that I've had multiple problems with my engine or engines on this John Deere. I've blown several motors, bad luck, getting stuck places, tarps getting under my blades. I had this engine running, have a couple videos on replacing the cam inside of the engine, and you can go to my channel again. You can go through the videos there. You can find how that's done. I did get one from Amazon, another cam that ended up being good enough for 2 mows, and after the second time that I cut the grass, it blew in there, and now I'm getting positive pressure coming out of my intake. So I don't believe that the gas is actually making it into the cylinder chamber in there. So yeah, I got a buddy of mine who donated another Briggs and Stratton. I think it's 4 horsepower less. And hey, he gave it to me. I'm just over here trying to make it work. It did have a different connector, so this is the connector that it came with. So it has 3 prongs in there, and mine had 4 prongs. This charger, stator charger, whatever this is called here, the charging this thing here, I'm sorry, I don't know the name, doesn't have as many coils as my other one. So the one that was on this engine that I'm filming right now, I'll show you to you in a second, had a different setup where 2 wires came from here, and here's the cable that goes to the coil, and then I had this one here has one of those carburetors that has the plunger that's powered. So one of those cables that go in there, the pin goes one here for a ground, and then the other one came out over this way. So I'm gonna eliminate that. And then here's the one that came off that engine that I was filming right now. Has all the setup here, so you can see there's I'm sorry, there's also 1 wire coming out of there, but the plug is different. So I'm gonna use this plug because this one has 4 prongs instead of 3. So there's 4 wires coming out of there. So the only thing I'm gonna eliminate is this wire that went to the carburetor. Everything else is gonna stay the same. So what I did is I removed the flywheel from this engine and from the other engine. Somehow this engine is quite weird because it doesn't have a oil filter, which was kind of weird for me. The oil filter would be somewhere on this side, so I guess it's I don't know how you replace the filter on one of these. I mean, I'm sorry, the oil. So I'm guessing you just use a pump and take the oil out from the fuel hole. Also, I'm gonna remove the accelerator wire or the choke. Yeah, accelerator and choke. So I'm gonna take that out off and use mine from my machine. Everything else stays the same. I'm gonna keep the same carburetor in there. I was told by someone that works on engines or on mowers that these carburetors are manufactured for every individual. Like the models are the same, so it's possible that you can't take this carburetor and put it on that engine over here because it will not run properly. And if you again go back to my videos, I have one there where I replace the cam from this engine with a cam from the engine that broke, and that cam seemed to be a little larger, so the lobes weren't the same size. So I think it was messing up with the valves when how much air was coming in and how much air was going out, and the same for exhaust. So yeah, that's where we are. So we got this replaced. This is the old engine. This is gonna come off of here shortly, and then we're gonna take that engine when it's all put back together and put it back on the machine, and then we're gonna try to remove this muffler from there because that muffler will not fit my machine, my cover. It will probably blow, it will end up blowing or being somewhere here. So in order to use that muffler, I'll have to do some modification to the hood, which I'm not looking to do. I believe that those holes match. So once I have everything in place, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that muffler off of there and see if I can use my old muffler right here and keep everything the same. So if anything, it's probably gonna run slower and it's gonna probably not have the same RPMs because it's a less horsepower engine. But if it works, I'll be okay with it. So stay tuned here. We'll continue to work on this and see what our final results will be. So hopefully it's not a waste of time. All right, guys, so we have everything back in place. We did all the work with the flywheel, put the old flywheel on there. I made sure that the teeth on this alternator are the same as the alternator that was with this flywheel. So this is the flywheel from the old motor. This is the alternator from the motor that was given to me. This is staying the same right here. The coil. I'm messing around here, put my pipe facing up, and that's not gonna stay like that. I don't think my hood, so this engine seems to be a little shorter than the previous one, which causes the pipe not to fit in my muffler down here. So I either have to extend it by getting some other pipe in, or put the muffler that came with this back on and get rid of my hood, or modify my hood and put a hole on the side right here somewhere to be able to get the exhaust to come out. I'm not trying to ruin the hood at this point. So as of right now, what I'm sticking with is just to get this thing started, see if it runs. We have all the carburetor components back in place. Oil is in. The pool is not on there yet because I just want to see if it runs. Have my gas coming in, my pump. This engine didn't have a pump. I think it was gravity fed maybe. But I have it, everything hooked up. Here's my vacuum. The pump is hooked up. I had to use this neck for the oil from the older engine because this also have some kind of vacuum that attaches to the pump. So everything is where it needs to be. Filter, everything like that. We're ready to fire up and see. I don't have anything connected as far as the deck, and we're ready to get after this and see if this is going to start. Let's see if this thing fires up. Fingers crossed here. Gas cap is where it needs to be. I'm quite nervous to see how loud this is going to be, and I don't know what's going on with this engine. I hope my wiring is all not going to be an issue. So here we go. We got crank, but no, nothing going on yet there. Might have to do a spark test. Oh, baby. Let's get going. All right, we're gonna try this a couple more times and see if we can get this figured out, see why it's not starting or what we need to do in order to get it done. All right, so we're getting, the one thing that I notice is this intake is absolutely sucking in air like it should. My other engine was not doing that. It's actually spitting air out. So I have a positive pressure on this side here, which makes me believe that something is going on with the cam, whether I put it wrong in a way where it's backwards and the valves are not opening at the right time. So instead of taking air in, it's actually pushing it out. So what I'm gonna do right now is I noticed that if I put my hand over here, it wants to start. So that's why we're gonna try it and see if it gets going here. Then on the other side, I gotta reach no matter what. So I don't know what the deal is with that, but it seems like if I starve it, maybe it's getting too much air. want to start there. Almost there. So I'm either getting too much fuel or not enough fuel. Something with the mixture is not going right. So I gotta work with that and see what's going on there. But I think we're right about there. That's interesting. All right, we're gonna keep tinkering around and see what actually gets us to fire up here. I had taken a break from messing with this, and I think I found why this thing won't stay running. Look at all the sludge that we have in the bowl for the carburetor. Everything is so full of crud. So I took everything apart. I mean, look at how dark that is. That's super dark. The jet is super nasty. All in here. Look at all that stuff on the edge there. The bottom there, you can see, still focus or not. Right there at the bottom of that pilot there is all full of crap. So I'm gonna throw some compressed air through there, and I'm gonna go ahead and get all this cleaned up here. Absolutely have to clean these before anything could be done. So I'm gonna drop some gas in there and put a brush in there and clean all that stuff out of there. But no wonder this thing was struggling to get going. We're gonna clean that up, and tomorrow morning we're gonna fire up again. So the engine is running, however it's running a little rough and sputtering a little bit, backfiring. So I think that maybe this carburetor still got some gunk in there, still dirty. So we are going to, I think I'm gonna end up either taking the carburetor off and trying the old carburetor and see if I don't have any issues like I did with the other engine, being that it's a mismatching carburetor. And I did notice that in the inlet right here, in the intake side, there's some kind of a gasket that has like half restriction for the air and fuel mix to go in. I never seen anything like that before, but I ain't no engineer. I don't know why they did that, and I'm not messing with it. So I'm gonna fire up here, and we can see how this thing is running. The one thing that I found is that I don't know if it's the setting on my cable here that needs to be adjusted, but it seems like it's not throttling all the way up. So I have to bring my leveler almost to this choke for it to get maximum throttle. And then if I bring it down all the way to the turtle setting, the slow setting, it'll shut off. So I don't know if it's a setting thing or just because this carburetor is not working properly. Also, I don't know if this carburetor was replaced before the engine was given to me. So that's where we are. However, it is running, and show you how that looks here. last little bit there is how it idles. A little rough. I can't keep a filter on it. I might be able to put the hood back on this, or the cover for the filter and everything, with this cover here that will end up keeping that in place. But I definitely won't be able to get this hood over, so I might have to run it without without that for now, being that I can't fit this muffler over, fit that over the muffler. So I will either have to modify the hood, which I'm not looking to do right now, or find out how to extend this old pipe from this engine that fits this frame. When I installed it, it came about right behind there, so that wasn't fitting properly. I don't know. I'm going to try to take. I'm gonna try to replace everything from here forward. Actually, I can't replace this because that's the only one that fits. So I'm gonna try to take the carburetor off and keep everything else, and take the carburetor that's up there that works, which is the one that was with this. However, that might not run smooth, but we're gonna give it a try and see what happens when we do that. So I did end up swapping out carbs from the one that's to be set up with this mower, that meaning the one that has the plunger with the little sensor down here, the wiring connector and all that. So I did go set that up, which I was going to eliminate that, but I think that other carb is just super dirty. I don't want to mess with it. I just want my mower to run. I think I'm gonna put everything back together, put the cover on this for the shroud, for the fan shroud, I think is what it's called, and go from there. I think I'm all finished up here. Again, I just got to figure out what I want to do about this situation here, because now I will have to run the tractor without a cover, which I don't really like. It's gonna get, it's gonna get it dirty and so on, and then this will be exposed, which could be a burning hazard. So I'm thinking about what I want to do, whether if I want to modify the hood or not. I'll have to see how everything fits in order to be able to do that, if that hood does come down with this kind of muffler. But it is running, and it's running smooth, and you can now it can go in the Rabbit and it can go in the Turtle with no problem. So we're good to go here. I can't keep the filter on because I need to put the cover, which is over there, and hook up my fuel pump to it. I got the bolts right here and everything. Once I'm probably gonna cut the grass one time, and then I gotta get new oil and do an oil change. I know earlier in the video I said there's no filter on this, which is true, and then I was getting confused on how you would change the oil, but it's just a drain plug here. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about that's how you do it when it was right in front of my face. I actually went and replaced that with the longer tube that I've had with several of my other engines. It makes it easier. You don't get a mess, so it comes right out where you can put your pen down at the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and set up my my pulleys and take this for a spin. All right, I just want to show that this is actually working. So we're gonna get it turned on, back it out, and get the blades running, make sure everything is cutting and everything. So here we go. So there it is. Then it's running, back in business. So if you have any questions, just let me know about the process of replacing the stator under the flywheel to get everything retrofitted and ready to go from one engine to the other. Thank you for watching.